This page is the front cover, featuring the main characters Banjo and Kazooie from Rare's Banjo-Tooie, highlighting an exclusive review of the game. It also lists other titles reviewed inside, including Mickey's Speedway USA, Tigger's Honey Hunt, NFL Blitz 2001, Pokémon Puzzle League, and Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits. There's also a feature mentioned on Hey You Pikachu, and a brief mention of War on the GBC with Codemasters Cannon Fodder. This page features a large advert for Cheats Unlimited, offering over 10,000 cheats and tips, along with walkthroughs, covering a comprehensive list of titles across multiple platforms including the N64. There are various phone numbers and website details for accessing the service. The main content is an editorial titled, Meet the Team, discussing the office recovering from the Christmas party, noting the arrival of several N64 games for review, with particular excitement for Rare's Banjo-Tooie. The editorial includes humorous introductions to team members Roy, Nikki, Paul, and Alex, detailing their party hangovers alongside small photos. There's also a mention of the magazine's dedicated coffee machine. The page includes a large image of Mario promoting subscriptions, and an image of Banjo and Kazooie holding the magazine cover. This page serves as the contents list for the issue, highlighting the main features and reviews. We see a big look at Mickey's Speedway USA, showcasing Mickey and friends in a kart racer across American locations. Then there's the eagerly awaited Banjo-Tooie, featuring Banjo and Kazooie along with Mumbo Jumbo, promising more platforming adventures, which the team was looking forward to. Last page. Other features covered include Tigger's Honey Hunt, Hey You, Pikachu, Pokémon Puzzle League starring Ash and Pikachu, Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits bringing classic coin-ops home, NFL Blitz 2001 for Gridiron fans, and Cannon Fodder on the Game Boy Color. This page is the showcase section covering various bits of news and upcoming titles. We see updates on GameCube, with Rare and Retro confirming they're working on games, notably a new Metroid. There's also a look at an early GameCube controller design seen without a D-pad, which caused a bit of a stir. On the Game Boy Advance front, there are screenshots of games like Top Gear GT and Tweety, along with tech demos from Crawfish showing off the system's capabilities, and talk of Tom and Jerry Annette coming to the handheld. For the GameCube launch, Take-Two is lining up titles, including Rockstar working on the next Grand Theft Auto game. There's also news of Rugrats heading to GameCube, though the N64 version wasn't great. Critically for us, N64 fans, Treasure's fantastic shoot-'em-up Sin and Punishment has just come out in Japan and got a perfect score from Famitsu. There's still no word on a release for us in the West, but they promise more details next issue. You can see a screenshot of the intense action, and some character art featuring Eren Joe, Saki Amemiya, and Achi. Finally, Nintendo's moved into some swanky new offices in Kyoto. This page dives into various news bits, starting with a bit of console rivalry concerning the PlayStation 2's DVD playback issues when using SCART cables. Moving on to Rare, they're getting excited about their upcoming N64 stuff, specifically mentioning the brilliant Banjo 2. There's a screenshot suggesting a nod to the classic Saber Wolf game within 2Key, which is typical Rare, always hiding little secrets. The Most Wanted section covers some highly anticipated titles. Conker's Bad Fur Day is still on the horizon for N64, looking like a classic Rare platformer with an edge, while Dinosaur Planet and Eternal Darkness are mentioned, both looking promising. However, there's talk surfacing that these last two, Dinosaur Planet and Eternal Darkness, might be moving off the N64 and becoming GameCube games instead, which is a shame as they looked great. Zelda GBA also gets a mention, highlighting the excitement around a new handheld Zelda title. Finally, Star Wars Episode 1, The Battle for Naboo, the upcoming N64 shooter from Factor 5, is close to release, featuring some slick TIE fighter action. There's also a competition to win the Tigger's Honey Hunt game for N64, based on Winnie the Pooh. This page features the letters section, where readers share their thoughts. Discussions cover the console wars, the value of game guides versus cheats, mentioning guides for games like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and Duke Nukem 0 Hour. Readers also debate the changing difficulty and originality of games, referencing classic titles like Lemmings and Bubble Bobble, and N64 favorites such as Zelda, Banjo-Kazooie, Blast Corps, Space Station, Silicon Valley, Perfect Dark, and the delayed Excitebike 64. There's a prize draw to win an N64 peripheral kit and an image showcasing a guide for Zelda, Majora's Mask. This page features the letters section, where readers write in with their thoughts. People are discussing games like Pokémon, Twisted Edge Snowboarding, Zelda, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Tennis, and F1 Racing Championship, giving their opinions on reviews and the magazine itself. The editor responds to the points raised. The other side of the page is an advert for Xenium, listing a wide range of N64 games for sale, including Turok Rage Wars, Turok 3, Zelda Majora's Mask, Star Wars Racer, Perfect Dark, Carmageddon, World Is Not Enough, Vigilante 8, Worms Armageddon, Pokémon Snap, WWF No Mercy, Rugrats Treasure Hunt, Super Smash Bros., Mario Party 2, Mario Kart and Mario Tennis. They are also selling music CDs and DVD films. This page previews a few upcoming N64 titles. First up is Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, which follows the events of the film. The text mentions battling across land, sea, and space, and screenshots show droid battles and a Naboo fighter in space. It's highlighted as being developed by Factor 5, who did Rogue Squadron. Next is Pokémon Stadium Gold and Silver. This is the follow-up, allowing you to bring your Pokémon from the Gold and Silver Game Boy games to the N64. Screenshots show battles with various Pokémon like Jigglypuff, Ghastly, Charmander and Tauros, plus a minigame screen and a character portrait. It promises improved graphics, new modes like an enhanced gym leader castle, and the ability to collect items for a virtual room. Finally, Rugrats in Paris is mentioned, although the preview text for it isn't visible on this specific page, only the title and a large image of Jigglypuff below it, likely related to the Pokémon section above. This page features a preview for Rugrats in Paris. Following up on the previous game, this one shifts to a platform adventure based on the forthcoming movie. You play as Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica, searching for parts of a broken robot across 16 levels, including bonus games and minigames. The game includes multiplayer, and uses actual speech and music from the film. It supports both the Rumble Pack and the Expansion Pack for improved graphics and two-player options. While aimed at kids, it promises enough variety and carnival-style fun, like bumper cars and a battle against RoboSnail, to potentially appeal to older players as well. Screenshots show the characters exploring different environments from the film. The game was published by THQ and developed by Avalanche Software, with a UK release planned for January 2001. There are also several adverts on the page for game sales from Gametron, GameStation, and Game Collection Limited, listing various titles and prices. This page is a real handy guide, showing off how 64 Magazine lays out its reviews with all those little boxes explained, covering things like the Ninfo details, the $64,000 question for pros and cons, memory options for saving, and even the PAL performance for us here in the UK today. The main game featured here is Mickey's Speedway, USA, a racing game from the absolute wizards at Rare, featuring the famous Mouse and Pals tearing it up on the track. You also get a quick rundown of the other big reviews inside this issue. There's the highly anticipated sequel Banjo-Tooie, Tigger's Honey Hunt with Winnie the Pooh's Bouncing Pal, the unique voice command game Hey You Pikachu, a collection of arcade classics in Midway's greatest arcade hits, the American football action of NFL Blitz 2001, and the puzzling fun of Pokémon Puzzle League. The page also details how the magazine's final scores and individual category ratings work, using that N symbol system and percentages. This page dives into the full review of Mickey's Speedway USA, another cracking N64 title from the absolute masters at Rare. Following up their brilliant Diddy Kong Racing, this one brings Mickey Mouse and the gang into the karting world, racing across various US locations. The review highlights the game's visual appeal right off the bat, stating it's just beautiful. You can see from the screenshots that Rare definitely pushed the N64 hardware, with vibrant tracks and detailed character models. The page includes the standard 64 magazine review layout we saw explained on the previous page, covering the Ninfo details like the game type, developer, and release. It also features the $64,000 question pros and cons, touching on things like sound effects and variety. The review also mentions the memory options for saving progress. There's a section on how you can access tracks you've raced in other modes, titled Choices, which is a neat touch for practice. The screenshots show Mickey, Goofy, and other characters on the track, giving you a real feel for the gameplay. It's Rare's distinctive take on the kart racer, bringing Disney characters into their established racing engine. The next page continues the look at Mickey's Speedway USA, highlighting its presentation and story premise where Pluto has been kidnapped, sending Mickey and the gang on a karting chase across the USA to catch the culprits, the Weasels. The review explains the various race series and difficulty levels, taking you through iconic US locations like San Francisco and Las Vegas. It touches on the pickups and boost arrows that add variety to the races. There's also a breakdown of the last mouse standing battle mode, where characters face off in arenas using pickup items to eliminate opponents by depleting their lives, represented by balloons. Finally, the page introduces the Disney Club, showcasing the playable characters and their driving traits, including Mickey, Daisy, Donald, Minnie, Goofy, Pete, and hidden characters like Dewey and Louie, giving players an idea of who to pick based on their preferred driving style. The screenshots throughout the page show off more of the game's colorful tracks and character models in action, both in races and the battle mode. This page continues the look at Mickey's Speedway USA, explaining more about the pickups you find during races, like gold tokens for speed boosts and barrels for temporary invincibility. The review notes that the story premise, while present, isn't crucial to the gameplay. It highlights the unlockable Victory Vehicles mode, accessed by winning the initial series on all difficulty levels. This unlocks 4 new tracks set in iconic US locations: Yellowstone, Washington, D.C., the Everglades, and Malibu, all shown in screenshots. Other game modes covered include Time Trial, which offers a standard ghost car, and even a staff ghost challenge, and the battle mode for multiplayer arena action. The review also briefly compares the game to other races like Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing in its Motorway Mouse section. A key part of the page details the different kart classes available: the basic amateur kart, the faster intermediate and professional karts which handle well despite looking similar, and the sturdy battle kart which is built more for rugged handling than speed. Screenshots illustrate these different karts and showcase various gameplay moments across different tracks and conditions, including rear view and wrong way notifications. This page continues the review of Mickey's Speedway USA, highlighting its truly beautiful graphical style and polished audio presentation, noting that the menus are animated and the character voices and music add greatly to the fun. It discusses the gameplay mechanics, explaining how different characters have varying speed and handling stats, and how unlocking new races helps, especially Louie, who is particularly speedy. While the game might seem a touch easy to start, mastering the handling and unlocking characters is key. The page also covers the practice mode for getting to grips with the controls, and shows screenshots of the character select screen, various tracks, and the celebratory victory podium. The review rates the game highly across all categories, landing a fantastic 92% overall score, cementing its place alongside other great N64 racers like Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing, which are listed as alternatives. A second opinion confirms it's very much a solid kart racer in the mold of Mario Kart, but with everyone's favorite Disney characters. This page dives headfirst into the review of Banjo-Tooie. It kicks off by setting the scene 2 years after the first game, with the unexpected return of the Wicked Witch Gruntilda, prompting Banjo and Kazooie to embark on a new adventure. A major highlight discussed is the groundbreaking ability for Banjo and Kazooie to split up, allowing players to control them individually, to solve puzzles and tackle challenges unique to their abilities, a feature shown with screenshots of special pads in the game world. The page mentions key characters like Mumbo Jumbo, Bottles, and introduces new faces, such as the drill sergeant Jamjars, who teaches new moves. Various screenshots showcase the vibrant environments, special items like crystal jiggies, warp pads for quick travel, and interactions with characters. The review section touches on the scale of the game, suggesting it's absolutely massive, and mentions the inclusion of things like new moves, transformations, and multiplayer modes. It's clearly positioned as a significant evolution of the beloved platforming formula established in the first game. This page continues the Banjo-Tooie review, diving deeper into what makes this sequel tick. It brings back the brilliant transformations from the first game, letting you morph into bizarre things like a stone bear, a fearsome dinosaur, or even a washing machine thanks to the magical Humba Woomba. While the graphics might look familiar, the camera's much better this time, making exploring the absolutely massive game world a proper joy. It starts off deceptively small, but quickly opens up, becoming far bigger than the original, especially places like Glitter Gulch Mine. There's even a cool first-person subgame where you use Kazooie as a shotgun, which reminds me of Doom, GoldenEye, and Perfect Dark, and it even has multiplayer. Yes, you do have to backtrack a bit to use new moves or items on older areas, but the levels are designed well with handy portals to zip around. And you meet Sabreman on Hailfire Peaks, a proper blast from the past for us old Spectrum and C64 players. He's been frozen since his first game in 1984, and setting him free even hints at a new Saberwolf game coming on the GameCube. Oh, and you're still rescuing Jinjos, but watch out for their evil counterparts, the Minjos. It's a cracking game, truly friggin' amazing. This page continues our look at the excellent Banjo-Tooie. You'll be using your collected jiggies at Master Jiggy-Wiggy's temple, solving a little jigsaw puzzle to unlock the next area. It's a neat way to progress. Juwen. The game structure builds directly on the first, letting you start with all your old moves. You'll learn a heap of new abilities, over 20 in fact, taught by Bottle's ghost, who sadly met his end, and his drill sergeant brother, Sergeant Jamjars. They're vital for progressing and getting around the much larger levels, especially with the warp points scattered about. Remember the mystery of the ice key in Banjo-Kazooie? Turns out you find it here in Banjo-Kazooie, by smashing a character shaped like an N64 cartridge. It's the key to unlocking those secrets in the first game, which was a clever move by Rare. A massive improvement is the multiplayer. Unlike the first game, Banjo-Tooie has a brilliant selection of minigames, 11 of them, covering everything from racing and shooting to team games and even a quiz. It's proper good fun for playing with mates. Choosifs. The page shows screenshots of Jiggy-Wiggy's temple, the puzzle, the ice key character, various multiplayer modes including the dinosaur level, and Banjo in different areas. It really highlights the expanded scope of the game. This page dives further into the epic scale of Banjo-Tooie. It covers tackling massive bosses like Targetson in the Mayan temple, and how the Jiggy collection now involves solving puzzles for Master Jiggy-Wiggy to open new areas, a clever twist. You'll also see bits on the tricky Mayan kickball tournament, and getting transformed by Humba Wumba. Warrington Nos. A major highlight is finally getting to play as Mumbo Jumbo himself, using his magic staff to stomp about levels. The game is absolutely massive, as the bird on a wire section points out, with loads to keep you busy, including a much improved multiplayer compared to the first game. The overall sentiment is captured perfectly by the quote, "An awful lot of work has obviously been put into Banjo-Tooie." The ratings are impressive, showing off the top-notch graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, all culminating in a cracking overall score of 95%. The second opinion nails it too, stating the game is so addictive it'll ruin your life. It's clear this was a must-have title, building brilliantly on the original. Screenshots showcase various locations from the game, including the Mayan temple, Jolly Roger's lagoon, and even Banjo chilling in a tent. This page features a review of Tigger's Honey Hunt on the N64. It focuses on the bouncy tiger himself taking center stage in a platforming adventure. The article highlights how amazing the game looks, noting that it's quite impressive for an N64 title. It mentions the game has plenty of minigames and challenges to keep you going, with simple, easy-to-use controls. The main point of criticism is that it might be a bit too easy for older players, clearly aimed at a younger audience. The game involves Tigger bouncing his way through levels to collect honey, with characters like Pooh making an appearance. A specific minigame mentioned is Pooh Sticks, which you need to win to learn new moves. Screenshots show Tigger and Pooh, bees, and various in-game environments, including outdoor scenes, and what looks like a wardrobe level. The Nymphobox confirms it's a platformer developed by New Kid Co. and published by Ubisoft. Overall, it sounds like a charming, good-looking platformer for fans of Winnie the Pooh. This page carries on with the review for Tigger's Honey Hunt. It delves deeper into the gameplay, explaining the core objective of collecting honeypots across levels in the 100-acre wood while bouncing around and avoiding troublesome creatures. The review highlights how the game teaches Tigger new jumping skills as you progress, allowing you to revisit previous levels to access new areas and complete tasks for other characters like finding items. It notes that while straightforward, some parts require a bit more exploration. Two specific minigames are featured. Rabbit, Rabbit! A rhythm-style challenge where you mimic Rabbit's moves to learn a new jump, and Scissors, Paper, Stone, a game against Owl played towards the end of the adventure where timing is key. The review also mentions a photo album feature, where you collect pictures found during the game, adding replay value. It reiterates that the game is easy to pick up and enjoy, particularly for a younger audience, and quotes it as inoffensive, easy to enjoy and brilliant. N64 one of the very best. Screenshots display Tigger interacting with Rabbit, Eeyore, Owl, and Kanga, alongside images from the minigames and various levels, showcasing the charming world of Winnie the Pooh. This page continues the review of Tigger's Honey Hunt, praising the obvious care put into the game's production, clearly aimed at younger players and Winnie the Pooh fans. The graphics are highlighted as stunning and beautiful, perfectly capturing the look and feel of the classic Walt Disney animations, with backgrounds and characters looking like they're lifted straight from the films. The review notes, the 9 levels represent different seasons, adding visual variety. Tigger's movements, expressions, and interactions with characters like Heffalumps and Woozles are detailed with the expected Disney attention to detail. Cutscenes link the stages, and the menu itself is presented as a storybook, reinforcing the game's charming theme. Minigames like Scissors, Paper, Stone, Rabbit Says, and Pooh Sticks are mentioned, adding to the activities beyond the main Honey collection. The photo album feature, where you collect pictures throughout the adventure, is also reiterated, as adding replay value. The control system is described as very simple and easy to master, making it ideal for younger players and teaching new skills gradually, without being frustrating. While the game poses little challenge for experienced gamers, its strengths in presentation and accessibility for its target audience far outweigh this. The review concludes that despite minor flaws, it's a fun, gorgeous, and potentially addictive title, earning a high overall score of 92%. The screenshots show Tigger navigating different environments and engaging with the storybook interface. The next page covers Hey You Pikachu, which was quite a unique offering on the N64 back then. The big draw here was the attempt at voice recognition, letting you supposedly talk to Pikachu using a microphone attachment. The review points out that while the graphics were nice and the idea was amusing in places, the voice recognition itself was pretty limited, making the tasks quite basic. There isn't a whole lot of traditional gameplay, more just interacting in a virtual pet style. It was initially an import title, and as you can see, it carried a hefty price tag. The screenshots show Pikachu in different environments, like interacting with a Bulbasaur, and also Professor Oak popping up. There's also a shot showing someone using the microphone device, which was essential for the game. The story involves you helping out Professor Oak by looking after Pikachu, trying to communicate with him. This page reviews Hey You Pikachu, which is built around the unique concept of interacting with the little yellow chap using voice commands. It comes with a special microphone accessory called the Vroo, which plugs into the N64. The core gameplay involves talking to Pikachu, issuing instructions, playing simple games like fishing or catch, and building a relationship. The review highlights that Pikachu only understands a very limited set of words and phrases. A major point raised is that the voice recognition can be quite difficult, perhaps because it was an American title designed for American accents. Screenshots show Pikachu interacting with the environment, other Pokemon, and the setup of the Vroo and microphone attached to the controller. This page reviews Hey You Pikachu, Kizasa, a game built entirely around talking to the little yellow chap using the voice recognition unit accessory. The review highlights the unique concept but quickly points out the limitations of Pikachu's vocabulary and the frustrating voice recognition, especially for non-American accents, making simple tasks difficult. Screenshots show minigames like a Pinata party on the beach and helping Pikachu find items in a field trip, illustrating the simple gameplay loops. There's also a mission involving guiding Pikachu to rescue lost Poliwag. While Pikachu himself is well animated, the overall graphics and other aspects are considered basic and repetitive, deemed more suitable for very young players. The review concludes that while initially novel and fun, the game quickly becomes boring due to its shallow nature and technical issues. The ratings reflect this, with low scores for gameplay and challenge, though graphics and audio fare a little better. The overall score lands at 75%. There's also a second opinion reinforcing that it's great for younger Pokemon fans but just a novelty for others. The page wraps up with a little farewell message from the reviewers. Alternatives listed are Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Stadium. This version of Hey You Pikachu, released in PAL regions, was based on the US version, which is why the voice recognition could be a bit tricky for UK players. This page reviews Midway's Arcade Greatest Hits, Volume 1 for the Nintendo 64, bringing back a cracking collection of classic arcade games from the late 70s and early 80s. The package features 6 absolute stunners: Defender, Robotron, 2084, Sinistar, Joust, Root Beer Tapper, and Spy Hunter. It's all about the sheer playability and fast-paced action these games offer, which is exactly why they were so popular back in the day and still hold up today. The game includes screenshots showing the distinctive visuals of titles like Defender, with its classic ship and landscape, and Robotron 2084, showcasing the character battling hordes of enemies on a grid. The review highlights that the collection offers great value, with a nice mix of game styles, providing hours of retro fun. It touches on the unique control methods, particularly Robotron's famous 2-joystick setup, and how well the ports generally capture the original feel. While some games might not have translated perfectly, the overall package is seen as a solid compilation that brings these legendary titles to the N64. This import release was definitely one to snap up for fans of classic coin-op action. This review of Midway's Arcade Greatest Hits, Volume 1 for the Nintendo 64, explores several classic arcade games. Defender, a side-scrolling shooter, is praised for its immediate action and unique visual style. Robotron 2084, a frantic twin-stick shooter, is highlighted for its intensity. Sinistar, a space shooter, is noted for its inertia-based controls and satisfying boss battles. Root Beer Tapper, a bartending simulation, is described as fun but potentially less engaging than the other titles. The review also includes a weakest link segment, critiquing Joust and Root Beer Tapper. Lastly, the review mentions Spy Hunter and its top-down driving action. Screenshots accompany each game, showcasing the gameplay and visuals. This page continues the review of Midway's Arcade Greatest Hits, focusing on the remaining games and the final verdict. Joust is covered, highlighting the unique concept of knights jousting on flying ostriches, or possibly horses, depends who you ask, noting the simple gameplay across limited levels. Screenshots show the distinct platforming battle arena. Next up is Spy Hunter, lauded as the standout game of the collection, with its top-down driving and shooting action, and the memorable 2-speed high gear being a key element of the challenging gameplay. The review mentions the difficulty and frantic pace. Screenshots illustrate the car on the road and the weapons van. The page also includes more of the arcade trivia feature, testing knowledge of classic games like Space Invaders, Defender, and Sinistar, and a retro arcade fact about Sinistar. Finally, the overall rating is revealed as a solid 85%, with individual scores given for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge. The soundbite summarizes the collection as having excellent playability and being fantastic fun overall, with a second opinion also praising the value of getting 6 classic games. This page dives into Midway's NFL Blitz 2001, bringing their signature arcade take on American football to the N64. It's all about fast, aggressive action rather than a complex simulation of the sport. The review highlights the simplified rules, like having fewer players on the field and needing 30 yards for a first down, which keeps the pace frantic. Screenshots show the game's look during tackles, scoring plays, and even a glimpse of the play selection screen. It captures that non-stop, high-impact feeling the Blitz series is known for. This page continues the review of NFL Blitz 2001. It delves into the game's modes, highlighting the special Party Play section, which offers several minigames like the Quarterback Challenge, First and Goal Frenzy, and Goal Line Stand. These are designed for quick, focused fun, testing skills in different aspects of the game, from passing accuracy to defensive stands. The page also includes a breakdown of American football equipment, giving context to the sport depicted in the game. Screenshots show the team selection screen, in-game action, and menu screens for the party play modes, reinforcing the game's fast-paced, arcade presentation. This page continues the look at NFL Blitz 2001. It highlights the play editor, a cracking feature allowing you to cook up your own plays to outwit the computer or your mates. The core gameplay is described as pure arcade American football, all about big hits and scoring touchdowns, rather than complex strategy. It covers the simplified controls and mentions alternatives, like other NFL Blitz games and Quarterback Club. The review uses the familiar N64 icons for rating graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, ultimately awarding the game a stonking 90% overall score. There's also a second opinion from Roy Kimber who, despite not usually being a fan of the sport, found Blitz 2001 great fun due to its gameplay focus. It notes that the game was difficult to get hold of in the UK, due to the N64 climate at the time, often requiring importing. It really captures that fast, violent arcade feel that made Blitz so popular. This page delves into the world of Pokemon Puzzle League on the N64. It kicks off by acknowledging the sheer scale of the Pokemon phenomenon at the turn of the millennium, and then introduces the game itself, noting it's a puzzle title featuring the famous creatures. The review highlights the core gameplay as a variation on the classic falling block formula, where you match blocks of the same color to clear them, earning points and increasing the difficulty. It touches upon the story mode, where Ash journeys to the Puzzle League village for training, encountering familiar faces along the way. Screenshots show the puzzle action, character interactions like Ash battling Gary and Sabrina, and tutorial segments explaining the mechanics. The article suggests the gameplay is highly addictive and offers plenty of replay value. It also mentions the game was primarily an import title for UK gamers at the time, which was common for many N64 releases. Overall, the review is positive about the gameplay itself, stating there's practically nothing wrong with it, even if the Pokémon branding might feel a bit tacked on to some. It captures the essence of a solid puzzle game, wrapped in the hugely popular Pokémon universe. Pokémon Puzzle League for the N64 receives an 87% rating, lauded for its vibrant presentation mirroring the animated show. The game offers various modes, including battles, Puzzle University challenges, and a Team Rocket Spa service. It supports 2-player matches. Gameplay and challenge are highly praised for being addictive. The review highlights the simple controls, badge collection, and graphical faithfulness to the Pokémon world. While the graphics shine, the audio suffers from potentially annoying music and repetitive speech. Character art and gameplay screenshots are included, showcasing battles and the Puzzle Village menu. A Game Boy Color version is also mentioned. The review's soundbite calls it a good cash-in, and a second opinion echoes the addictive gameplay but criticizes the music. This page features a few different things, but the main pull for an N64 player like myself is the Cheats Unlimited advert down the left side. They're offering stacks of cheats and tips, over 10,000 apparently, covering a whole range of systems including the N64, Dreamcast, PlayStation, and PC. They list loads of N64 games they cover, like Blast Corps, Body Harvest, Bomberman, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, Ocarina of Time, Turok, and WCW, amongst many others. You could ring them up for codes, though it cost per minute back then. Turok. Over on the right, there's a big section dedicated to Total Game Boy. It looks like 64 Magazine has included a special 7-page supplement, focusing entirely on the Game Boy Color, sort of like an embassy for their sister magazine. It explains their review system for Game Boy games, covering graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge, and lists the Game Boy games they're reviewing in this section, like Cannon Fodder, The Mummy, and Lego titles. There are also some Game Boy Color screenshots, and pics of the consoles themselves. It's good to see the handheld getting some love, even in an N64 mag. This page is dedicated to reviews of 2 Game Boy Color titles, which is part of that special Game Boy supplement we saw mentioned earlier. First up is a look at Cannon Fodder. It's described as a strategic shooter, where you control a squad of soldiers through various missions. The screenshots show the top-down perspective gameplay across different environments like deserts, Arctic landscapes, and areas with water and bridges, plus some vehicles like helicopters. The review praises how easy it is to get into and how addictive it is, mentioning the clever reinforcement system where troops parachute in when yours fall. It highlights the graphics, sound, and variety of missions and vehicles you can use. The game is clearly highly regarded here, scoring an impressive 95%. Next, we have a review of The Mummy. Based on the 1999 film, which was itself a remake, it's described as a platform game. You play as different characters from the movie, swapping between them to use their unique abilities to navigate levels, find the exit, and collect objects. Screenshots show platforming action inside what looks like a tomb and on a stormy boat, along with a shot of the titular monster. The review mentions it borrows elements from Tomb Raider in style and presentation, but finds it repetitive and the controls a bit fiddly, despite being challenging. It manages a score of 79%. This page continues with those Game Boy Color reviews we saw on the last page. First up is a look at Lego Alpha Team. This one isn't a typical action game. It's described as a puzzle game, designed to test your brain, rather than your reflexes. You take control of Dash, a Lego character, guiding him through levels by placing special Lego blocks that alter his path. There are also various items like lasers and springs to help you solve the challenges. The screenshots show the overhead view of the levels, character models, and the menu. The review highlights the ingenious puzzles and addictive nature, though notes the graphics are a bit basic, and it can get repetitive or frustrating at times. Next, we have Lego Stunt Rally. This is a racing game, but with a twist. You can also build your own tracks. The racing involves competing against other Lego characters on different terrains, and winning unlocks more options for the track builder. The gameplay is simple, focusing on controlling your speed, and you can pick up power-ups and weapons. The review mentions the track building offers plenty of enjoyment, and the racing is fun, although the controls are described as a bit unusual as the car turns by itself. Screenshots show overhead views of the racetracks and Lego character models. It's seen as a simple but fun game, offering good value with the track creation feature. The next page continues with more Game Boy Color reviews. First up is The Grinch, based on the Dr. Seuss's classic. It's described as a simple maze game, somewhat like Pac-Man, where you play as either the Grinch or his dog Max, trying to steal Christmas items from the Who's while avoiding them. It ties into the new Jim Carrey movie version, and while it's bright and colourful, the gameplay is quite basic and a bit uninspired. It gets an overall score of 78%. Following that is Supercross World Championship, an arcade racer. It boasts impressive FMV cutscenes, and features different modes including racing in a world championship and performing freestyle tricks. You race motorbikes, using power-ups and weapons, and the gameplay is considered addictive and well-designed, offering plenty of challenge later on. It's seen as a very impressive pocket-sized racer, and scores a high 90%. This page has a review for Air Force Delta. It's a flight combat game, which aims for some sort of realism, but the review notes it doesn't quite nail the feel of being a real pilot. Apparently, the handling is a bit restrictive, mostly just moving forward, which can make dogfights and targeting difficult. It's published by Konami and developed by Climax, listed as a fight sim. The screenshots show both aerial views and some ground targeting, as well as the game's menu with plain details. Despite trying to look realistic, the reviewer felt the game lacked excitement and got dull quite fast. The overall score is 75%, with a breakdown for graphics, audio, gameplay, and challenge. On the right side of the page, there's a large competition running with various prizes up for grabs. The next page is the Score Zone, the place where N64 players send in their best times and scores to see how they rank against others. The intro here mentions that the Ultimate Player Award is shared this issue, with Tim Hughes and Richard Lewis both claiming the prize, challenging them to battle it out for solo bragging rights next time. This Score Zone covers a huge range of games, showing off top performances in Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, and Diddy Kong Racing across many different levels and tracks. There are also leaderboards for specific challenges within Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time like fishing and racing, plus athletic events in International Track and Field, Summer Games, and various tasks in Donkey Kong 64. Other games featured with high scores include speedruns in Quake 2, collecting gems in Mischief Makers, racing in Extreme G, challenges in Chameleon Twist, different match types in WCW/Nitro, and scores for Yoshi's Story, Tetrisphere, and levels from Shadows of the Empire. The magazine is clearly keen to keep this going, putting out a call for scores on new games that readers got for Christmas, and providing easy steps on how to submit your own records to enter the zone, encouraging players to send in their best efforts with photo or video proof. The next page continues with the Score Zone, showing off more incredible times and scores from readers across a heap of N64 titles. You've got the top racers for Star Wars, Episode 1 Racer, and Mario Kart 64, proving who the real speed demons were back then. There are also best times for levels in Micro Machines, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Quake 64, and Banjo-Kazooie. Plus, scores for Xena, Warrior Princess and Turok Training make an appearance. The magazine throws down a Score Zone challenge for EA's The World Is Not Enough, asking players to complete it on the Tough O Agent difficulty. And of course there's the Ultimate Player Award, where the top scorer each month nets a cool top drive 3-inch-1 steering wheel, compatible with the N64, PlayStation and Saturn. They also mention the 64 Solutions Cheats hotline for anyone needing tips, open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. This page kicks off the magazine's extensive As section, absolutely packed with hints, tips and cheats for loads of N64 games. It promises 12 pages of solutions, updated monthly, with new additions highlighted. You'll find cheats listed here for games like Airborder 64, Aero Gauge, Automobili Lamborghini, Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, All-Star Baseball, 99, Buck Bumble, Bomberman Hero, Body Harvest, Battle Tanks Global Assault, Biofreaks, Charlie Blast's Territory, Command and Conquer, Diddy Kong Racing, and Joint Venture. The page is filled with character images from various titles, including Toy Story, Donkey Kong, Duke Nukem, South Park, and Diddy Kong Racing, alongside screenshots showcasing gameplay from Automobili Lamborghini, Body Harvest, Bomberman Hero, and Command and Conquer. It's a solid resource for anyone wanting a bit of help getting through these classics. This page continues the Essential Cheat Central section, diving into more N64 classics. It covers helpful hints and cheats for games like Destruction Derby 64, including unlocking cars and turbo starts. You'll find codes for Duke Nukem 64 and 0 Hour, providing access to items, invincibility, and different modes or characters. There are cheats for Excitebike 64, F1 World Grand Prix for unlocking challenges and boosting speed, and crucial entries for GoldenEye like invincibility, infinite ammo, and weapon types. Fighter's Destiny includes hidden characters and skills, while International Superstar Soccer 98 lets you unlock silly heads and extra players. Doom 64 also gets a nod for level access and invincibility. The page is filled with images of iconic characters from Biofreaks, Toy Story, Donkey Kong, and South Park, along with screenshots showcasing gameplay from the featured titles. This page continues the Cheat Central rundown, covering a whole heap more essential N64 titles. You've got cheats for Multi-Racing Championship, including guaranteed wins, and Mischief Makers with ways to get infinite rubies and extra stages. There's Mace, the Dark Age with modes and character unlocks, and Mortal Kombat 4 giving you access to secrets like playing as Goro and Noob Saibot, plus alternate costumes and codes for fighting conditions. Mario Party is here with tips for getting easy money and stars, unlocking minigames, and revealing secret characters. You'll find Mario Golf cheats for changing hands, costumes, and getting secret characters like Luigi and Yoshi. Micro Machine 64 offers codes for things like big bounces and double speed, while Mission Impossible has codes for weapons and invulnerability. NHL Breakaway 98 covers cheat menus and player inspection. Nuclear Strike is also here with basic cheat codes. Off-Road Challenge provides access to extra trucks and hidden levels, and Ogre Battle 64 has music tests and save file deletion. The page is packed with images, from screenshots of racing, fighting, and golf games, to a big composite shot featuring characters from Biofreaks, Mortal Kombat, Donkey Kong, Toy Story, South Park, Resident Evil, and James Bond. This page continues the Cheat Central section, bringing you more essential codes and tips for a stack of N64 games. You've got Perfect Dark, covered for unlocking weapons, Pokemon Puzzle League with details on badges, trainers, and difficulty settings, and Puyo Puyo Sun 64 offering cheats for different modes and gameplay tweaks. There are codes for Rakuga Kids, which was a quirky fighting game only released in Japan, letting you unlock alternate costumes and characters. Rainbow Six provides passwords for campaign progression, while Revolt gives access to tracks and hidden cars. Ready 2 Rumble Boxing lets you unlock classes and boxers, and Road Rash 64 has cheats for bikes, characters, and race settings. You'll also find passwords for Robotron 64, and a huge list of cheats for Rush 2, Extreme Racing USA, covering everything from invincibility to hidden vehicles and game modes. Quake and Quake 2 have debug modes and level passwords. Rampage 2, Universal Tour features passcodes, and Resident Evil 2 gives you invincibility and infinite ammo. Rugrats Treasure Hunt has a secret level, and San Francisco Rush 2049 includes a cheat menu and hidden character. The page features a large, colorful composite image packed with characters from various games, including Biofreaks, Donkey Kong, Toy Story, South Park, Resident Evil, James Bond, and Rampage 2. You also see screenshots showcasing the action from Rush 2, the top-down shooting of Robotron 64, a boxing match from Ready 2 Rumbles, and another racing shot from San Francisco Rush 2049. This page carries on with the Cheat Central, piling on more vital codes and secrets for a host of classic N64 titles. We've got cheats for Shadowgate 64, Scars, Supercross 2000, and loads of unlocks for Super Smash Bros., including characters and costumes. South Park Rally has passwords for hidden characters and cheats, while Star Wars Racer and Star Wars Rogue Squadron get plenty of codes too, covering passwords, unlocks, and debug options. There are also codes for Director, the Millennium Falcon racing game, and a massive list of cheats for Shadows of the Empire, giving you everything from invincibility to unlocking movies and even playing as different characters. The page is dominated by a big montage featuring characters from games like Biofreaks, Donkey Kong, Toy Story, South Park, Resident Evil, James Bond, Rampage 2, and others. You can also spot screenshots showing action from Supercross 2000, South Park Rally, Biofreaks, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and the 64 magazine racing game. This page continues the Cheat Central section, packed with essential codes and secrets for a stack of N64 hits. You've got unlocks and modes for games like Snowboard Kids, Turok 2, Zelda, Majora's Mask, Vigilante 8, The World Is Not Enough, and Toy Story 2, along with cheats for racing titles like Top Gear Rally, Top Gear Overdrive, and Rally. There are also handy tips for Star Soldier and Space Station Silicon Valley. The page features a massive character lineup including Cartman, Buzz Lightyear, James Bond, Donkey Kong, Nemesis, and many more, plus screenshots showing action from the various games covered like the racers, snowboarding, and Space Station Silicon Valley. This page is the subscription and special offers page for 64 magazine. You can subscribe for a year and get 2 issues free, or take up a mega deal which includes a game and strategy book from a selection covering popular N64 titles like Mario Party 2, Mario Kart, Perfect Dark, Zelda 64, and Donkey Kong 64. There are also separate deals on strategy books for many top games, and the option to order back issues of the magazine. This page showcases the magazine's extensive Nindex guide, providing a quick reference for every N64 game they've reviewed, complete with scores and brief comments. It also features their current top 10 list of the best games on the system, all set against some stunning artwork of Link from Zelda, Majora's Mask. The next page continues the extensive Nindex, offering a quick reference to numerous N64 games reviewed in the magazine, complete with their scores and brief comments, a handy guide for any serious N64 owner. The page also features several 64 top lists, ranking the best games in different genres, including shoot-'em-ups, adventure, fighting, platform, and the essential 4-player games, each list accompanied by a relevant screenshot. Additionally, the page includes a test of time section, revisiting 3 earlier N64 releases to see how they've held up. Diddy Kong Racing, a kart racer originally reviewed in issue 7, is still seen as fantastic and fun with great graphics for its time, earning a rescore of 84%. Duke Nukem 64, the port of the classic shooter, while now looking a bit dated compared to later games like Perfect Dark, is considered a good conversion and still worth playing, scoring 81%. Finally, the early racer Extreme Egg is revisited. Though praised for its speed initially, it's now deemed less definitive due to later titles and handling quirks, receiving a revised score of 77%. Each re-review provides a screenshot of the game in action. This page carries on with the Nindex, providing quick summaries and scores for a load more 64 games, covering everything from racers to puzzlers. It also features several more 64 top lists. There's a list for racing games, topped by F1 World Grand Prix. The best sports games are highlighted, with Infinity 8 coming out on top. They've even included a list for top Game Boy Color titles, which is a bit random for an N64 magazine, but Tomb Raider is number 1 there. You'll also find lists for the best party/puzzle games, with Buster Move 2 taking the top spot, and strategy/simulation games, where StarCraft 64 reigns supreme. Finally, there's the sobering list of the top bad games, showcasing the lowest scoring titles, starting with Carmageddon at the absolute bottom. Each top list includes a small screenshot. This page previews the next issue of the magazine, with a big focus on Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2, showing off the character models. Looks like they're diving back into the ring with Midway for that one. The next issue is due out on January 25th, and promises features on some cracking games coming up or recently released, including Cruisin' Exotica, Power Rangers, Lightspeed Rescue, Rugrats in Paris, Conker's Bad Fur Day, which is one to watch out for, and Aiden Chronicles, amongst others. There's also a big section for the Inspector Cheat service, offering tips and codes for literally thousands of games across pretty much every system going at the time, including of course the N64. You ring up a premium rate line to get the info you need.